Hey, welcome back. I'm Ferrikster, here to bring you some more Pokemon Go Battle League battles. These battles are played in the Great League Remix, so they're slightly outdated because that cup will have ended a few hours before this video even makes it up. So, yeah, not instructional, just posting it because I think the battles were great, and yeah, it was a fun team to run. So, video's kind of short. Only was able to finish 2 sets that I was able to record before that ended. But if you want to see more battles of this team, then you can definitely check out the 5-hour-long block of video that is uploading and will presumably be up in a few hours, which is a Twitch replay. If you don't follow me on Twitch, definitely go do that. I guess it's not quite like my usual content here because, well, for one, I curse there, and I don't seem to do that here, just out of habit at this point. But yeah, if you want to see me wearing a nice blazer, making drinks, cursing, and burning things down with Shadow Charizard, you can definitely check that out. It was a celebratory stream to celebrate hitting 1,000 followers on Twitch, so yeah, maybe was a little more off the rails than my normal streams, but I don't know. I had a good time. It was nice. While I'm telling you to go find me on Twitch, if you have Amazon Prime, by the way, you get 1 free Twitch subscription because Twitch is owned by Amazon. So, yeah, you can subscribe to me for free, and I'll get like $2, and you'll get, I don't know, more channel points, which is nice, I guess. But like, the important thing is that I get $2. That's why I need you to go do that if you have Amazon Prime, because it doesn't cost you anything, and I get $2, and that's always nice. That's money out of Amazon's pocket and into my pocket. But yeah, ooh, feels so uncomfortable to tell people to please subscribe. Don't forget to smash that like button too. Let me just hop into these battles. So, this first match up against Bruchette. I am opening Shadow Charizard, and I used an Elite TM, like the 3rd Elite TM I've used on this specific Pokemon, to give it Dragon Breath. And in the back, I have a Cresselia, which is another Pokemon that's fairly accessible, but definitely a lot more common than Shadow Charizard is, and a Whiscash. Yeah, there wouldn't be that much point in having posted this video before, because I doubt many people could build this team out of the things that they have. But yeah, he safe swap Electrode, which was actually a thing that I had toyed around with before. And I ended up not really liking it because like Nidoqueen shut it down so hard, and Whiscash does that also, although Whiscash wasn't super common in the early days of Great League Remix. But Frostlass comes out, and I'm going to throw this Mud Bomb, and I'm going to be able to get this second Mud Bomb off, hoping to draw a shield here, and I do. And now I just barely get to the next Mud Bomb because Whiscash is pretty damn good at getting to the Mud Bombs. Gonna throw that. It lands, and this Frostlass is pretty low, but has like an avalanche and a half of energy. Thankfully, I'm able to sneak in a Dragon Breath, which honestly does acceptable damage, even just getting 1. Because now, as long as I keep Charizard alive and can bring it in off into Frostlass, like this Mandibuzz is quite bad for Charizard. Beats Charizard and beats Cresselia. Thankfully, they no-shield the Blast Burn. So at this point, I just need to switch out into Cresselia at any time, because even if Cresselia faints out at this point, that would be fine, because Shadow Charizard would be able to Dragon Breath Frostlass down before Frostlass is able to get to another Avalanche. So Mandibuzz isn't going to end up having enough energy to take out Cresselia, but like even if it had more energy and was able to make it, still would have been okay here, just because Shadow's Dragon Breath does such oppressive damage. And there's not a lot of things that resist that in Great League Remix. All right, next up against Rave Master. Shadowzard into Obstagoon. So this matchup is slightly improved now with Dragon Breath. He switches out right away into Nidoqueen, which is strange to me because Obstagoon would actually win in the 0s and the 1s versus Shadowzard, just because it outpaces Shadowzard ever so slightly. But since he switched into Nidoqueen, it kind of makes me feel like this is probably an ABB team, because like otherwise I don't know why he would have switched out. So I'm definitely trying to maintain alignment, and Whiscash will be able to do that no problem. My opponent could have thrown a Poison Sting there, but smartly they didn't, they just built towards the Earth Power to force me to throw the Mud Bomb. That's actually the right way to go about that, because if they threw the Poison Sting, I would have just been able to farm them the whole way down. Able to land this Blizzard on Obstagoon, and now I'm going to bring Charizard back out. I'm going to no-shield the first one, but he's at back-to-back, so I'll definitely have to shield one in case he gets the boost. That's why I want to not shield the first one and shield the second one instead. So, shielding the second Night Slash, and he switches out into Tentacruel, so it was in fact a Obstagoon double poison. I was expecting Golbat in the back, Tentacruel fine also, but a lot tankier. I should honestly have shielded this because the Hydro Pump would do the most damage, but I was worried I would get acid sprayed if I shielded. That's what seems to happen to me a lot. So I ended up throwing this Grass Knot here, and that's kind of a mistake because, I mean, now Obstagoon comes out and still has 2 shields, and I don't have enough energy to really pressure both of the shields out because I'm barely going to be able to reach the next one. He could throw here, and I could maybe shield, but, like, honestly, if I just am able to reach this move, it'll eat up his last shield, and now I just switch to Charizard, and I'm able to Dragon Breath down while he's trying to throw the final counter to KO Cresselia. So, able to switch in at the right time and managed to snipe Obstagoon down, and he went down with at least enough energy for 2 Night Slashes. So yeah, Shadows and Stunfisk, terrible, terrible lead for me. I switch out to Cresselia, and he's deciding to throw here. I feel like the right move as Stunfisk would be to have held on to that energy because the discharge doesn't do that much to Cresselia, but it would be lethal to Shadowzard. Either way, brings Obstagoon in, and since I had time to build up this energy, I'm able to throw this Moonblast kind of early. I get the attack drop, which is fantastic for me. I'm running Confusion on my Cresselia, by the way, which is kind of maybe not the most typical choice, but I felt like there were so many fighters and poisons in the meta that being able to do my damage with Confusion and then, you know, having Grass Knot and Moonblast, it's just now I'm doing damage with 3 move typings instead of just 2 move typings, which is what would happen because, like, Psycho Cut doesn't really do that much damage, whereas Confusion actually does. So he's deciding to throw here. I'm actually going to shield because I want to win alignment here if possible. And I am just going to throw this Grass Knot. He could use his last shield there and be able to counter me down, but decides to let it go and not lose his shield. But that manages to get me alignment, and it turns out there's Hypno in the back. So alignment maybe didn't actually matter that much because both Hypno and Stunfisk are really good against Shadow Charizard and really not great against Whiscash. Kind of depends on moveset. But if this Hypno is running Thunder Punch Shadow Ball, only have to worry about the Shadow Ball. I switch out on 7 because that's when the Hypno starts to feel really pressured to throw. Was figuring I was just catching a Thunder Punch, but I actually managed to catch a Fire Punch instead, which is fantastic, and kind of a mistake by my opponent because Fire Punch and Thunder Punch both hit Whiscash for single resisted damage, so they do exactly the same amount. So if he had just thrown Thunderbolt or Thunder Punch, I wouldn't have had the ability to switch out to catch something resisted. So definitely kind of a minor misplay there. And since I now know that both of his punches don't hurt, I'm able to just no-shield the punch. If it had been Ice Punch, it would have been, like, you know, it would have taken me out along with these mud shots. But since I got to see both punches and I knew I would resist them both, I could no-shield, save my shield, so that I'd be able to shield Stunfisk, and I'm able to get to that Blizzard and manage to take that game. GG. All right. So next up against Piracom. Shadowzard into Dragalge. This would be terrible if I still had Fire Spin. Now that I'm running Dragon Breath, it is quite good. I get to the Dragon Claw at the exact time that they get to their Aqua Tail, and Charizard wins CMP here. So able to throw that, and I get the shield, so now I can Mirror Shield, and I can Dragon Breath the whole way down, so that kind of pushes them to have to switch out so they don't get farmed. I should have thrown my Dragon Claw immediately. I don't know what I didn't see the first powder. Well, what happened was I didn't see the first Powder Snow, so I was counting them and behind by 1. But yeah, I should have just insta-thrown my my Dragon Claw, and I would have just won CMP with Frostlass and could have pressured out a shield or done a bunch of damage before letting Shadowzard go down. So kind of a misplay on me. I'm going to end up shielding the Shadow Ball there. And I throw this Grass Knot when they're still 2 Powder Snows or 3 Powder Snows away from their Shadow Ball. They decide to shield, so I decide to try to switch out and catch the Shadow Ball on Whiscash. Shadow Ball would do more to Whiscash than the Avalanche anyway, but they ended up throwing Avalanche instead. And yeah, now since I was able to get a 2 Mudshot energy lead on their Whiscash, I'm able to safely reach this Blizzard when they're still 1 away from their Blizzard. And now they're over farming a little, so I'm able to throw this Mud Bomb also. It's possible one of my Mudshots on their Frostlass had been invisible, so that they were off by a count because of that. But yeah, they throw their Blizzard and are able to take me out, but it's just too little too late. Now I'm just able to Confusion down, and I'd be able to Confusion down Dragalge and Confusion down Frostlass. Managed to take that game. GG. So this set is going pretty well. I am at 4 out of 4 so far. Next up, Charizard into Empoleon. Terrible lead, obviously. Switch out right away to Cresselia, and they swap out into Mandibuzz. So, yeah, pretty lost lead and pretty lost swap. But let's see if I can salvage this. I throw the Moonblast and it lands. I don't get the attack drop this time, but that's understandable. You don't normally get the attack drop. Take this Foul Play, and the only thing that I really have going for me is that this is an Air Slash Mandibuzz, so they charge up their moves a lot slower. Gonna shield this Foul Play because I wanted to get off this Moonblast, and what I really need to do is eat up some shields. Like, it looks like I'm fighting for Switch Advantage, and yeah, Switch Advantage would be great, but I know I'm not gonna be able to get Switch Advantage. I'm just trying to get shields down, because with no shields, Charizard's Blast Burn can hit Empoleon, and hits for neutral does absolutely devastating damage to Empoleon. So they just barely managed to reach their Foul Play, and that's fine. I'm gonna let it go. Saving my shield. They switch into Empoleon to try to snipe me down with a Waterfall, which is a great move. I'm going to throw this Blast Burn and then swap out to transfer that Waterfall onto Whiscash so I can save Charizard because I might need him to Dragon Breath something down. He does have kind of a decent chunk of health, and this Empoleon is switch locked because my opponent swapped in actively. Able to sneak in another Waterfall, which is unfortunate for me because that means I'm not going to be able to just farm down. I'm going to have to throw this Mud Bomb. Being able to farm all the way down would be nice. I could have ended with a Blizzard loaded, but hopefully the thing in the back Whiscash will have some play against, and it is a Dragalge, so that's fantastic. I could try to land the Blizzard, which would one-shot, but it just felt safer to me to throw this Mud Bomb and then build up to my next one. Because I'm so close to the next Mud Bomb, they wouldn't have been able to throw an extra Dragon Tail, so they had to throw their Aqua Tail as soon as they got it, and managed to catch that on Charizard. And now I'm just going to bring Whiscash back out and throw my Mud Bomb here. Managed to take out Dragalge, and now there's just a Mandibuzz left over with a Sliver. I'm able to Mudshot Mandibuzz down. GG. Really rough lead and rough swap, but managed to take that game for a very clean 5 out of 5. And my item bag is full. So that's nice. Gonna claim, and I get a Rufflet, which is not a Dialga, which is quite upsetting. Really, really want a Dialga, and I think I've literally only gotten one from GBL encounters so far, and it's been like several days, 5 days, 4 days. It's been a while. But they are not spawning for me. I am quite upset about it. All right, next up against Dragon Silk. Shout out to Dragon Silk, a much more popular Twitch streamer than me. You could definitely go check him out. My opponent swaps into Mandibuzz, and that is fine because Shadowzard is honestly kind of my best response to Mandibuzz anyway. Let the first move through, and now I'm just going to throw this Blast Burn. If they shielded it, I would have switched out to Whiscash, but since they no-shielded, I'm just going to stay in with Charizard. I could have just let myself go here, but like it's so hard to farm down Mandibuzz with Mud Shots and Confusions because Mandibuzz literally double resists both of them. So I opted to instead just shield, knowing that I'll be able to get my shield back later. I should have just thrown the Blast Burn. I don't know what I'm throwing Dragon Claw for. And then I'm insta-switching out to my Whiscash. So I know my opponent can't swap out of this matchup because Whiscash would demolish Dragalge, and they'd rather save Dragalge in the back, hoping that it has play against whatever I have. And because I got my Whiscash out before Frostlass was able to throw 2 Powder Snows, 3 Powder Snows, before they were able to throw 3 Powder Snows, I'm able to outpace them and get to my second Mud Bomb, which I can land before they're able to throw the second Avalanche, which would take me out. And now I just need to bring in Cresselia. They won't be able to get to another move, and all I really need to do is just Confusion down Dragalge. I don't have to shield anything from Dragalge even. Even the Outrage, its hardest hitting move from here, would not be enough. Only does about 50%, and I just Confusion down Dragalge, and now I can just Confusion down Cresselia. Don't need to throw anything. And yeah, managed to take that game. GG. Dragalge in the lead is good for this team, but Dragalge in the lead when they switch out was even better. You can't use that information because it's too late. I'm sorry. These battles are from last night. There wasn't enough time. So yeah, Charizard into Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz in the lead, not great for me, but Mandibuzz in the back, in some ways even worse. I'm gonna no shield the foul play, and maybe I should just go straight Blast Burn. But I decide to bait this time with the Dragon Claw. Since I've let myself get so low, it kind of feels like they feel like they still have 3 Pokemon left. So if they shield once, they can still have like 3 pretty much full health Pokemon. When your opponent's Pokemon is really, really low and your Pokemon is the first Pokemon and still has a lot of energy, you do feel like shielding. I do the exact same thing just so that I can have like 3 full Pokemon in case I decide I want to switch out. So I was just building up excess energy, wasn't throwing my Blizzard yet. And luckily for me, my opponent switches out to try to catch the Blizzard on their Ninetales. So I could have farmed up a little bit more before throwing this Mud Bomb, and honestly, I really should have, because getting hit with a Weather Ball Fire is just doesn't do anything. And switching out to Cresselia is also a super weird decision here to catch the foul play, which Whiscash gets hit for neutral, on Cresselia, which takes super effective damage instead. It's just a weird play. So I'm going to shield the second one, because I don't know what's back there. I was anticipating it possibly being double fire, or at least double something weak to Whiscash. So land this Grass Knot, and then they swap out at the last end, maintain, and there's a Lickitung back there. So that's kind of a problem. Lickitung is pretty good against Cresselia, and yeah, beats Whiscash also. So this could probably be a Power Whip, but it doesn't even need to be, because the Body Slam plus Licks would be enough. So I have to shield this, so I'm able to cleanly get out this Blizzard, because I really, really need this damage. This is really not an amazing situation. And now I'm just trying to spam out this Mud Bomb as soon as I can, because I so desperately need to reach it. Able to do that damage, and now Lickitung has to throw because they are getting way too low. And yeah, it is a Body Slam. They swap out to Mandibuzz, which absorbs 2 of my Mud Shots. Bring Lickitung back out. I'm able to absorb a few Licks while I get 1 Confusion through, and this Confusion will register if I can just survive this Body Slam, and I do. The Confusion registers, and I just barely manage to take out Lickitung. Cresselia is so tanky, such a thick little thickie. Managed to take that game. All right, next up. Charizard into Golbat. So this is a losing matchup for Charizard. My opponent switches out, though, into Hypno, and I switch out to Cresselia for no good reason. That was the wrong thing to do. Whiscash is a much better counter to Hypno than Cresselia is. I was literally just thinking about trying to resist the confusions. But the most common sets for Hypno right now are Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, or Thunder Punch, Shadow Ball. Those are like the most normal things. And Whiscash resists all of the punches, and only takes neutral damage from the Shadow Balls while I'm hitting back for neutral with everything that Whiscash throws. So sending out Cresselia, definitely a mistake. Cresselia also does much better against Golbat than Whiscash does. It's a terrible swap. I mean, I'm not in a bad position by any means, but I'm not doing myself any favors. So I shielded a punch, got baited, and then they landed the Shadow Ball and were able to take out Cresselia, win switch advantage, and there's a Lantern back there. So yeah, switch advantage would be really nice, because Whiscash is very strong against Lantern and not that strong against Golbat. Excuse me. So switch out, and yeah, am met with Golbat. I'm 1 Mud Shot ahead, so they reach their Shadow Ball at the same time that I reach my Blizzard. I decide to no shield, anticipating that, hoping that it would be a Poison Sting bait, and it's not. So now I need to land this Blizzard, and I do. So now this is okay. So now Whiscash can just outpace Lantern. It takes 7 Sparks, then 6 to reach Thunderbolts, whereas it only takes 5 Mud Shots, then 4 to reach Mud Bombs. Lantern did have an energy lead, but I'm able to reach this Mud Bomb at the last second. Land the Mud Bomb, does super effective damage, and this was actually a CMP tie that I won. Because, yeah, Whiscash wins CMP against Lantern, even though I think of Whiscash as being much thicker. And I'm able to just Dragon Breath the rest of the way down. Managed to take that game. GG. It was some recovery, but I did not make that easy for myself. Put myself into a position where I had to guess properly and where my opponent had to guess improperly. It's rough. All right. Charizard into Obstagoon, and they switch out right away to Nidoqueen, so this is probably Obstagoon double poison. So obviously going to no-shield this, and it is the Earth Power. And I'm not going to throw my Mud Bomb until they are, or I'm not going to throw my second Mud Bomb until they're past 5 poison jabs, because at 5 poison jabs, they can throw the Poison Fang. And if they do that, it lowers my defense, sure, but that just provides less farm, and it means I'm able to farm the whole way down. So definitely much better for me when they play it like that. The last person that played this team that I encountered earlier in this video played it a little bit what I would consider better, because they no-through just built up towards the Earth Power instead. I think that was the right move. So bring Charizard out into this Obstagoon, and it does not have as much energy as it had last time, so I'm going to shield this Night Slash, because I don't know what's in the back, and I still have 2 shields, would like to have 2 Pokemon still available. Land the Dragon Claw, and yeah, since I'm not going to be able to... I don't know why I'm switching out here. That's kind of a weird choice. Could have just shielded and farmed down, but let's find out what is in the back, and it is a Ninetales. So not Obstagoon double poison. This is fine also, though. So since I've saved my shield, I anticipate the Obstagoon has energy, or is at least very close to a move. So I'm going to save my shield for Charizard. All I really need to do is get some more damage off onto Ninetales, get it into Dragon Breath range. Like, if I'm able to throw one of these moves, that will take them out. So they have to throw here. This is going to be a Weather Ball, but that is fine with me. They'll only be able to throw another Weather Ball. They're not at a Psyshock yet. So I can no-shield this Weather Ball because the, what's it called? The Night Slash from Obstagoon would do more. And yeah, now I'm already at the move. I build up more energy for absolutely no reason. Maybe going for the Blast Burn, but am able to just throw this Dragon Claw. Managed to cleanly take that game. GG. So yeah, on to the next battle. So next up against QQQQ. Charizard into Frostlass. So this is a pretty decent lead for me. If they stay in, I reach the Dragon Claw at the same time they reach their Avalanche, and as long as I throw right away, I will win CMP. And if they shield, I shield. I mean, if I shield anyway. But if they no shield, I farm them down. So shield that Avalanche, and now I am going to reach my next Dragon Claw, also at the same time that they reach their move. So instead of throw and lose CMP, they smartly switch out and catch the Dragon Claw on a Lapras. So I'm going to switch out right away to Cresselia. So Charizard doesn't have a ton of... Well, Charizard is now energy drained, but the Dragon Breath damage is still going to be useful later if it has to come into play. Just bring Cresselia out. And, I mean, I could have tried to Confusion all the way down, absorb a Surf, and have like a move and then some stored, but you can't store back-to-back Moonblasts with Cresselia anyway. Moonblast's too expensive for that. So that's all right. I'm just going to let myself go down here, right? Yes, just going to let myself go down here. It is the Shadow Ball. So now if I bring Charizard in, Frostlass won't be able to reach another move, and they send in a Kingdra. I thought I was going to maybe be able to reach the Dragon Claw, but didn't quite make it. So now Whiscash is going to come in. And again, if I probably should have switched out to Whiscash right away. If this Octazooka debuffs, that will make it a lot more difficult for me. But since it doesn't, I'm able to just throw this Mud Bomb. The no shield, and I'm just going to spam out my next Mud Bomb as soon as I can because I'll outpace them, get to the Dragon Breath charges up to the Octazooka pretty slowly. And since they shield, I know I'm going to end up having to shield the next move, but that's all right. So all I need to do is shield here. And yeah, throw the Mud Bomb against Frostlass as soon as it comes out. Opts to switch out right away to try to get that out faster, but I'm already at the Mud Bomb, so I'm able to land this Mud Bomb, and now I can just Mud Shot down the Kingdra and manage to take that game. GG. And yeah, that is another 5 out of 5. I didn't just cherry pick, these were just the last 2 sets I was able to finish, so managed to end on a 10-win streak. This team actually turned out to be really, really strong. I wish I would have used it earlier. I was trying to avoid using Shadow Charizard for a while, just because it's not really accessible, so it doesn't make helpful YouTube content because a lot of people just don't have it, and there's no way to get it right now. Like, it's Shadow Charmander, not available from Rockets. I don't know when they'll be bringing that back. It hasn't been around for a while. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to do the things that you know you're supposed to do at the ends of videos. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one.